everyone, welcome to Pineapple Knits, a knitting and spinning video cast. I'm Marina, and you can find me everywhere on the web at Pineapple Yarn, especially Instagram where I'm most active. You can visit my hand-dyed yarn, fiber, and candle company at pineappleyarn.com. Thanks again for joining me this week, and it's been 2 weeks since I podcasted last. I took last week off, mostly because it was just a little crazy around here, to be perfectly honest. I kept trying to make a moment where I could podcast, and yeah, it just didn't happen. So that means that I have so much to show you this week. It's a little crazy. I'm also wearing something I knit, of course. I am wearing the Hipster shawl. This is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. I absolutely love this shawl so much. I knit it in my yarn, pineapple yarn, in the colorway Profound, and I used a worsted weight yarn. And I'll tell you, this, if you haven't made this shawl, if you haven't knit this shawl, I highly recommend it. It's so great. I'm gonna go ahead and show you, for those of you who haven't knit it, it's such a wearable shawl. It's not too deep, which I find, definitely for me because I'm petite, this is the shape that works for me the best, but it's so long. It has this super fun detail with the X stitches, and it has fringe on the bottom. So this is so fun, and this, I think this was last year, maybe a year ago I made this, even like a year and a half ago, I can't really remember, but this was like my favorite color of all times back then. I wanted to make everything in this color, and actually I made, what did I knit in this? It was a sweater by Andrea Mowry. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll put it below. But this, I still love this color. It's so great, and yeah, so I'm wearing it today. It's really, really damp and rainy here in coastal South Carolina. It's not too cold, but it's just kind of that temperature where it's kind of feels cold, kind of not, and it's damp. So I'm wearing this to keep me a little warm today. And I also decided to go with something a little different drink-wise. I know that for the past several weeks, I've just been drinking coffee every time I'm on here. But actually I was feeling like something fruity, and I wanted something cold. So I looked through my cabinet where I keep all of my tea, and I found a box of Emergen-C. For those of you who know what it is, it's like fruity flavored vitamin C packets. So I saw a raspberry flavor, and I was like, ooh, that looks good. So I'm drinking raspberry Emergen-C in my Teami mug, which is so funny, but I love, I think I talked about this mug a long time ago, but this is such a great mug because it's such a great size. It's pretty small. It's 13.5 ounces. So I don't know, it's not huge, and I don't like really big mugs, but anyway, this is great. I love it for cold things, and yeah, I'll put a link down below where you can get it, and I believe I still have a coupon code for it. So if you're interested, I will put those below. Wow. Okay. That raspberry Emergen-C is pretty good. Okay, so what do I want to show you first? You know what? I'm going to show you some finished objects first. And I have been totally on a sock kick lately, and these past 2 weeks are no different. So I'm going to show you the socks I knit up first. I'm going to show them all on my super cute Shamrock knitted sock blockers by Knitting Left. And Marcia has the cutest sock blockers. So if you're interested, definitely check out her shop. I got these a couple of years ago, so I'm not really sure if she has these in the shop right now or not. Definitely worth checking out though. So for the first 2 pairs of socks that I knit these on my circular sock machine, which is an Ehrbacher Gerhardt Speedster. And this is kind of, I'm gonna be honest, these are kind of stretched out because I wore them. But I wanted to make or develop kind of a recipe for some ankle length socks. Just for summer when I'm wearing shorts. I have no shame in wearing taller wool socks, but I think I might get hot. So that's why I kind of came up with this pattern. But it was super easy to come up with these, and I absolutely love this yarn. I cannot tell you how much I love it. I'm going to show you the front of them too. So the yarn is from my Glow Club, which is my yarn and candle club, and I believe this was February's. So I'm going to show you a close up. How pretty are these colors? You have these like beautiful kind of rusty oranges and turquoise blues and aquas. Those of you who know color theory know that these colors just really clash, but wow, in the knitted up and in the skein, this looked absolutely beautiful. Like I said, this yarn was from my Glow Club, and it was called Stroll Through Paradise. And yeah, I thought these were so, so pretty. So the recipe I used for this, I did a very thin hung hem on these, like 10 stitches, and then hung the hem, so it made almost like it almost looks like a rolled hem. And then I believe I did 10 more rounds, and then I did a short row heel and did the normal length through my foot, and then did a regular toe. The toe is the same as the heel. Now, you might wonder how I know how long to make these, besides the fact that I've made like 20 pairs of socks on my machine by now. I found this really cool website. It's like a circular sock machine calculator, I think is what it's called. And I'm going to link it below in case you're interested in it. I thought it was just absolutely so cool that someone came up with this. Basically, you're putting, you know, how many stitches around you're making, the length of your foot in inches, you know, if you want ease, all these things, and it tells you exactly how many stitches on the heel. You know, you put in how many stitches you want on the heel. Anyway, that's how I figured out. I actually do 65 rounds for my feet, and they fit my feet perfectly. So that's always really neat when you, socks are such a kind of a finicky item, clothing item. You want them to fit really nicely, and so that was very helpful in figuring out my recipe. So the next pair of socks, and I'm just showing you one because, I don't know, that's just what I'm doing. The next one is also from my February clubs, and this was from my Sun Club, which is my neon club. And this was, again, like I said, this is from February. I thought this was so pretty. It's just kind of like a pastel-y, lots of like lavender and aqua blues. But you know what? There are some really, really cool little speckles in here. And I really loved it, so I hope y'all did too. I thought this was such a pretty, pretty yarn. So I did the exact same calculations that I did with the other sock on these, and yeah, I thought they fit really well. And this one I haven't worn yet, but I think that it will fit really great. And you know, I might tweak the recipe a little bit, but I have no complaints. I thought it fit really well. So, and I thought this yarn was so beautiful too. So that was fun to knit up. Now my last pair, there is, I think I am going to show you them on the blockers because they are a full-length pair of socks. And one is slightly different than the other. I'm just keeping it real here, for reals. But I wanted to try on this pair a little bit thicker hung hem, so I did a 30, I think it was a 30 row hem. And my blockers are a little small for these, so they're gonna look baggy, but I thought these turned out so sweet. How cute are they? This was the last, I guess the last of the trio of clubs from February. This was my Low Country club, and it was called Oyster Roast. It was kind of like it was very like feminine and kind of like lavender, like some lavender pinks with some grays. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a close-up. So these are, like I said, pinks and lavenders. There are a lot of little subtle speckles, which is exactly what I wanted to do. You can see some of like the bolder speckles here and there, but there's all these little subtleties throughout. And I thought this colorway knitted up was so, so pretty. I absolutely loved it. And this isn't necessarily the color I gravitate towards, but I really was pleased with how it turned out, and it matched the inspiration photo, so that's what really mattered. And then I paired this with a gray Madelinetosh, and I'm sorry I don't know the color. It's old. I'm sure they don't make it anymore or dye it anymore because it's one of their vintage colorways from many years ago. But I thought it paired really well with this. Now let me show you the other sock. I thought this was funny. So these are a gift for someone, and I wanted to show you before I sent them off. But I played a little game of Yarn Chicken, and I knew I would, but I took my chances and I lost. So this is what I had to do on this sock, and this is all bunchy, like I said, because it is, it's not the size. They're a little bit bigger than my feet. But I had to add these rows, and this is an old colorway of mine from, gosh, probably 3 or 3.5 years ago. I don't even remember what it was called, but maybe around Christmas time I had this. So anyway, I just added it, and yeah, I'm sure this person who I'm sending these to, they will be gracious enough where they will know that it's the thought that counts. But I thought these turned out really cute, and yeah, I'm not sure. So like I said about the hung hem, I'm not sure about the wider hung hem. I'd love to know if you have an opinion about it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would do this for myself. It's just maybe my preference, but I think maybe because I'm smaller too. I have short legs. There's not a lot of space to have a large hung hem. I don't know. I think if you're taller, it's fine. But so that's those socks. I wanted to show you really quickly. I've actually been, and I did put a photo on Instagram of this too. I was kind of toting around these finished socks in this little basket, and I made this years ago, probably, oh gosh, this had to have been at least 7 years ago. I made this basket, and it's a sweetgrass basket. For those of you who are familiar with the traditional baskets, especially down here in South Carolina in the Low Country, but I took a class in Charleston, and it was really, really fascinating. So this was so fun to make, and yeah. Well, like this happens every time that I skip a week of podcasting, I think I've already talked too much about one thing, so I'm gonna keep moving along. I wanted to show you something that I kind of finished knitting, but it's my banana leaf shawl that I used all of my Advent minis. So I I haven't sewn in the ends or blocked it, but I just wanted to show you because I literally just took it off the needles last night. So here's the progression of all the colors all the way to the very end. So yay, I'm so excited to finally get this done. It's so long. Folded in half, this is already this long. It's so long, it's crazy. So like I said, this is the Banana Leaf Shawl by Yuki Ueda. I used my Pineapple Yarn 2019 Advent Calendar Minis, which I loved. I'm so excited that I saved myself a set and actually made something from it. The one thing I do want to say about this shawl, first of all, I will really try to make a Ravelry project page. I know I'm not very good at that, but there was a wonderful mod from another project that used fingering weight yarn. The original pattern uses lace weight yarn, and so I found a project that modified this with to use fingering, and it was invaluable. So that was great, and I want to direct you there in case you want to use fingering yarn, weight yarn as well. Secondly, I think I read this maybe on a project page. I'm not really sure, but unfortunately the ends do not match on this, and I'll show you. It's the shape of the ends. So I started off, and this end looks like this. This end is much pointier, and it's probably, I was trying to find where this end started. I want to say it's like here. I mean, you can see the angle of this point is much pointier, even if I block it, because I thought, well, I can block it and it won't be a big deal. It's, yeah, it's a different shape. So, yeah, not really sure why. I'm sure it wouldn't be that challenging. I'm just saying. I don't think it would be that challenging if you wanted to modify it and figure out a way so it wasn't such a sharp angle at the very end, because it's, I don't want to give the pattern away, but it's not terribly difficult. But I just honestly just wanted to get this done, and it's been on my needles for quite a while, and I think the you know, the point for me where I realized that I just really needed to get this done, I actually, I don't have a huge stash. I don't have a lot of knitting accessories or whips, and I don't like to have a lot of outstanding whips. And so what I've done is I really do try and work on things or frog them to just get them off my needles. Yeah, so I found a couple more this weekend, unfortunately, and it just kind of drives me crazy. So I need to get those off the needles. I either need to frog them or finish them, but they've been outstanding for a while. I tried to find my notes on them or a pattern, and I just can't find them. I did frog one. For those of you who've been watching for a while or who have watched older podcasts, I did end up frogging my Stephen West shawl. It was the Mystery Knit Along from 2017 or 2018. I can't remember. It was the one with the Latvian braids. Texture Time, maybe? Is that what it was called? I can't remember. It's been quite a while, and I really lost steam with it, and it just wasn't happening, so I frogged it. Anyway, one down, and then I have maybe two more to go. So after I saw that, I needed to get this done. I'll still wear it. I don't really care if the ends are a different shape or not. But anyway, that's my banana leaf shawl. I am going to weave in all the ends this week. I've got a lot of ends. I don't know if you can see. And I will hopefully be wearing it next week. So this was a really, really fun, kind of a mindless knit well written. I really, really loved it. So that is that. And now I am going to move on to spinning. I do have a finished spin to show you. This was, I felt like the longest spin. I don't know why this took me so long, but this was from my Hedgehog Fibers Fiber of the Month Club for, I don't even remember, a couple months ago. And it is a beautiful blend of, I believe, Surrey alpaca, merino, and the sparkle. And so I know I showed it on the podcast. The sparkle was a really cool blend of like red and blue and green, which is so unusual. But let me give you a close up. I just did a 2-ply spin here. I don't know exact stats on it, and I should maybe be a little more exact, but I just don't. I just want to spin for fun and not for like all the technical details right now. That's just not where I am. But I thought it was a really pretty 2-ply. Definitely thinner than I wanted. And I realized maybe a couple of spins ago, I had told you that I wanted to start spinning a little thicker for practice. Did I say thinner? I definitely meant thicker. I want to start spinning thicker for practice because I have just really fallen out of practice with spinning like a good DK or worsted or thicker weight yarn. And I never thought that that's the weight I would want to be spinning at. But it is, and I'll tell you why. Because the thing that drew me to spinning is I love the barber pole effect. I love the look of that. I love the look of a 3-ply or a chain ply. Those are the look of the yarn. That's what I gravitate towards, and that's what really want to get me to spin. And so when you spin, just for me, when I spin this thinly, it kind of muddles the effect of like a beautiful fiber, how the fiber's dyed. And I like fiber, this is definitely personal preference, I like fiber that's dyed in kind of a random way. I like fiber that has white or natural in it, just kind of like speckles or splotches. I like fiber that's really interesting in and of itself, and then also lends itself to a really beautiful finished yarn. That's the way I like it. And so that's one of the reasons why I have subscribed to the Hedgehog Fibers Fiber of the Month Club, because the way they dye their yarn is like super, it just looks really random, and it's super interesting. I really like it. But I wanted to show you, I had some left over, and so anytime I have like a bobbin, if I'm doing a 2-ply and I have, which inevitably happens, I have one bobbin that always has some left over, I always practice my chain plying. And so this is what it ended up becoming. I thought it was really, really pretty. And truth be told, I think that if I started out doing a 3-ply or a chain ply, I like the weight of this better and I like the look of it better. But what can you do? Live and learn. It's fine. I still really like both, and I definitely will use them or gift them. So that's what I did there. And then I wanted to show you this really quickly. This is just a cute project that my kids did. So I have a blending board from Ashford, and I love making rollags. And so my children love making rollags as well, my older children. And so every once in a while, I have a big box of like just really bright, fun fibers, and I have, Firestar, and I have little bits of sari silk, and just all of these little things that they can play with. And so a couple of them, now I do have one daughter who really doesn't, spinning and knitting are not her thing, but she likes to do the blending board every now and again. But I have a couple of girls who just love doing the blending board, and so they also like to spin. And so this is what one of them spun up the other day, and I thought this was kind of cute, so I thought I'd show you. It's just such a fun, playful mix of so many colors. It kind of looks like an Easter egg. I thought it was cute. Or peeps, the little sugary marshmallow peeps you get around Easter time. So what I need to do with this is I'm going to leave it as a 1-ply because it's so thick, or I shouldn't say a 1-ply, a single, and I will skein it, you know, wind it into a hank, and then I'll probably try and felt it, because I think this is just I don't think this is a superwash merino, hopefully not. And then I think it would be so cute to either have one of them knit this up, or maybe I'd just quickly knit this up as a hat or a cowl or something. It'd be super cute. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. I thought that was really sweet. And I did, because they had so much fun doing this, but some of their little their little chunks here and there were too thick to go through the orifice in my spinning wheel. And I have a Krumsky minstrel, which has I would say the orifice on it is a little smaller than, I would say it's on the smaller side. We'll say that. And so some of these, you know, just like this chunk right here, it had a little bit of a time pushing through there. So I did end up, because I'd been thinking of this for a while, I did end up purchasing the jumbo flyer attachment from Krumsky. Actually, I think I purchased it through Paradise Fibers, but it's Krumsky because that's what my spinning wheel is. And yeah, so I think that it will be easier for them to spin some chunkier weight yarn, and they won't have to stop and start as much. And also, I think this is key for them right now too, is that it has a extra large whorl, and so that will just spin less, and it will help with, because this is definitely, there are definitely over twisted parts on this. It'll just slow everything down for them a little bit, and help them get their drafting, you know, get their drafting perfected, I guess. But anyway, they had fun with that. The last item I've been working on is I did start a new spin. This was with a fiber that I dyed in this last batch that I have back here. It's a BFL. I'll show you up close. And frankly, I thought that the fiber, when I dyed it, because I kind of did kind of an over dye, I guess, and it really lent itself to some beautiful colors, but it also made the fiber, I wouldn't say that it's felted, I just felt like it was a little too compacted to sell. So this is the fiber. I think the colors are really beautiful, and I just thought it was a little too compacted to sell, and so I decided to spin it up myself. And I love the colors in this. I think I will probably re-dye this. I thought these colors looked so beautiful on the BFL because it's just naturally, it's not a white fiber and it's not superwash, and so, you know, kind of like the bright neon colors, I don't really think they shine their best on BFL. BFL is just more of a warmer fiber, and it just, yeah, I think it looks beautiful with colors like this. So yeah, so this was fun, and I'm spinning that up, and I am working on making this a consistent, thicker spin, so aiming toward a worsted plus weight on this, and it's been really challenging. First of all, just you know, not going very thin, but then secondly, just keeping a very consistent, keeping it a consistent weight. So we'll see how this turns out, but it really has been a challenge stepping up a couple of, I don't know, thicknesses, gauges, I don't know the word, but it's been fun. Hopefully I'll get that done this weekend or so, because ooh, I love hand spun. I love plying it and seeing all the colors come together. So much fun, so satisfying. So as far as shop news, I wanted to let you know that I will be having an update this Friday, March 6th, I believe, at 8 p.m. Eastern at pineappleyarn.com. And I will be listing a video after this one with all the fiber. These are the colors I will have in fiber. And then I do have a little stash of yarn here. These are all new colorways. They're super fun. And if you're interested in that, please check it out. I would love for you to ogle over some beautiful yarn. But the second thing I wanted to let you know is that I also finished dyeing and winding all the club colorways. They will probably go out, I think, Thursday or Friday. So if you were lucky enough to snag a club colorway, they are on their way. And I have April's pre-orders up in the shop right now. So that's all I have to talk about this week. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you like the podcast, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That pushes it out to other like-minded knitters and crafters like you. And so we can really join in community here. But I hope you have a really great week, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.